Hey everyone, Madurai here. Pokemon Heart Gold with only Tropius was a shockingly hard run. Let's follow that up with a fun team run. Today's the day that we figure out would I be able to beat Pokemon Emerald with a team of only Wally's team and moves. So here's Wally's team. I've said for ages that it's shocking how bad Wally does in these runs considering his team isn't that bad. Gardevoir is a super strong Pokemon that's pretty comparable to Alakazam, Magneton with Thunderbolt is fantastic, and Roselia is overall a really solid Pokemon in this game. I guess Altaria is just alright with these moves, and Delcatty has just an awful moveset, but I really do think that this is a decent team. We could probably beat the game at a reasonably low level. Like always, I'm reading the script as I go through with the challenge, so all this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I'm sure that it's possible to win with this team, but what I'm most curious about is how easy it is. I'm convinced that Wally could have been Pokemon Champion if he literally just tried. So it's time to find out if that's true. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use Wally's team and moves. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So right off the bat, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Mudkip with Skitty so that we can do the whole run with it. I picked Skitty to start with because it's something that we can catch before the first gym anyway. It actually starts with attacking moves, unlike Ralts, and it's more rare than Ralts. I guess I never really went hunting for a Skitty, so I had no idea that it only has a 2% encounter rate until I looked it up for this challenge. Anyway, the first thing I do is I go ahead and catch a Ralts, of course. You probably already know where it is, since watching Wally catch one is part of the catching tutorial. It's kind of a rare encounter at 4%, so hunting for one with a good nature is a pain, but it wasn't too bad. The first one was mild-natured, and I'd love to keep that, but it had its ability Trace. I guess it's not in the rules, but I want to have my team have the same abilities as Wally if I can swing it, just to make it a little more accurate. I went ahead and caught a second one with the correct ability, although its nature is more speed and less defense. It'll do. So early game travel is more or less what you'd probably expect. Some switch training on Ralts at the start so it can learn Confusion, then I spend most of the time leveling it up. Skitty is kind of the dud Pokemon in this run. It's not that it's awful or anything, it's just that it doesn't end the run with great moves compared to the others. Right now, we really need Ralts to level up so that we can beat the Rock and Fighting gyms with it. The Rock gym is probably going to be pretty hard because they've got 3 Pokemon, plus potions and berries. Wish me luck. So we fought the local trainers to level up Ralts to 11, and although we easily lost the fight, I had to show you this attempt. We crit Confusion twice, and the second one also confused Geodude into hitting herself until she fainted. The only way that could have been more perfect is if Rock Tomb missed. Anyway, we still came nowhere close to actually making the second Geodude faint. I'm just gonna have to grind Ralts a little bit, but that's alright. I expected that. So level 16 was a pretty bad loss every time, but at level 18 it was starting to look hopeful. The Geodudes went really well, and it looked like we were going to land a few hits on Nosepass, but then it crit a tackle early on. It already had a lot of defense built up from Harden, so the moment Skitty came in, we were doing just about nothing. It always sucks to lose to a lucky crit. Thankfully, luck was on our side on the next attempt as the Rock Tombs missed in a row. It was on separate Pokemon, but still, we got super lucky. Now, we couldn't have won if all of those hit, but we could have won if she just used Tackle a little bit instead, so it's hard to say exactly how lucky this all was, but hey, I'll take it. Okay, with that done, we have the Fighting Gym, and then the one rival fight that usually ends up being kind of hard. Now, I think the Fighting Gym will be easy unless there's something I'm forgetting about, but I never know how the rival fight is gonna go. We're not exactly using super hard-hitting Pokemon right now, so we'll just have to see when we get there. As expected, the Fighting Gym was super easy. Ralts actually evolved into Kirlia right before going to the gym, so the whole thing was a breeze. Nothing to worry about. Will the rival fight go as well? So right away, Wingull is super easy. It just isn't that strong, and I fought a lot of trainers on my way here to level up. Grovyle had me pretty worried when Pursuit was doing more damage than our Confusions. We didn't last long, but we got him to about a third of his health before we went down. Skitty couldn't finish it off right away, but we got a traction on Grovyle from our ability, so it only hit us once. Last was Slugma, but it just didn't stand a chance. That was a solid fight. Hey, it's time to get our next Pokemon. Oh yeah! You can't catch Roselia in Emerald. Oh god. Alright, give me a few hours. I'm going to start a whole new file where I catch the Skitty and Ralts and start with a Roselia instead. Yes, I am absolutely going to just hack in rare candies to catch us up on level for this. I get the feeling you're all okay with that for the sake of having the video come out on time. Whoops. And here I thought I was being clever, starting with the Skitty instead of the Ralts, completely forgetting you can't catch Roselia in the Wild and Emerald. Okay, it's been a few hours, but I'm back and I have the full team now. So I'm thankful that we get Roselia because I'm clearing out the trainers in the area to prep for the Electric Gym. This one is always pretty hard, but I figure that we stand a chance now that we've got 3 Pokemon. Plus, Roselia has Leech Seed, and that can probably bail me out on the Magneton fight, because I've got no answer for that otherwise. I'm not expecting a first try, but I don't think we'll have to grind like crazy for this. So right away, Voltorb hardly hurt us with Spark, and ended up poisoning itself off our Poison Point. We took it out fast, but we got paralyzed, so I switched to Kirlia to deal with Electrike. It wasted some time with Howl, and held on for a while with Super Potions. We were about to knock it out when it hit a Quick Attack, so I sent in Skitty to finish it off. Back out to Roselia for Magneton, and this was a long and brutal fight. We Leech Seed and paralyze him early to help us last longer as he confuses us. He only needs a few hits for us to go down, but between Leech Seed, Mega Drain, and Paralysis, we can hang on for a long time. He almost fainted, and he had to use a Super Potion at one point, but thankfully, he doesn't have more, so we managed to take him out. That got us Magical Leaf, one of Wally's moves, so we learn it right away. Last was Manectric, and very quickly, we got outclassed. It was hitting hard, we're already beaten up, and none of our team is in nearly good enough shape to take it out. I'll have to come back after a few levels. Alright, we're back 3 levels later. This time Voltorb is sometimes a one-shot, so we managed to take it out without getting paralyzed. That's huge. Electrike was a one-shot with Magical Leaf, so we're in great shape as Magneton comes out. We hit Leech Seed right away, but then got paralyzed. Right after, we lose some health to Sonic Boom, but then we hit Stun Spore. From there, I knew a win was possible, but it was gonna take forever. She had potions to heal with, but between Mega Drain and Leech Seed, we can heal ourselves by quite a bit. By the time we took him down, we had full health. Last was Manectric, and right away, it was a rush to get effects in on it before we got wiped out by Quick Attack. We managed to get Leech Seed, Stun Spore, and hit a Mega Drain in before he healed back up and finished us off. We messed it up a lot though, so as Kirlia came out, we quickly finished it off. That was a great fight. Time to catch the second from last member of our team, Swablu. Yeah, that means that we get a dragon on the team for once. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's normal in flying now, but it's gonna be dragon in flying once it evolves at level 35. The moveset we get by the end isn't bad either. Nothing super hard hitting, but that's alright. It's probably got a lot more potential than Skitty at least. Maxie was a total cakewalk, as expected, although I guess he did do a lot of damage to Roselia. That's just because he was using a fire type though. Roselia's actually been one of the best members of our team this run in the short time that we've had her. Next was the Fire Gym, but our Gardevoir just evolved this level, so I used Calm Mind once, then took out her whole team easily with Psychic. Yeah, Gardevoir is an awesome Pokemon. Wally has no excuse to be losing with this thing. Let's go take out the normal gym. But on our way there, I took the Rude Fossil. I knew that if I didn't say what I took, you'd all ask. Actually, now that I think about it, everyone ask anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. The same Calm Mind and Psychic strategy worked great on the normal gym too, although it's partly because the AI was kind of awful. Slacking was using stuff like Yawn, while I was already asleep, even though Facade would have easily been a 2-shot. Because of that, we took out the whole gym pretty easily. That means that we can finally get our hands on the last Pokemon, Magnemite. It's not super strong yet, but it gets pretty great after evolving. Plus, we get to give it Thunderbolt, and the TM for that is the reward for beating the mini dungeon that Magnemite is in, so it's really convenient. Now I'm gonna slap an experience share on it and level it up right away, because we have a flying gym coming up, and I want to see how much of that fight we can do with Magnemite. Oh, and also, this is the first Magnemite I caught, and it had a metal coat! It won't serve us at all because we don't have any steel moves, but that's kinda cool. It's only a 5% chance it'll have one. But of course, on our way to the Flying Gym was the always easy other rival fight. I actually fought as much as I could with the newer and weaker members of the team just to get more experience on them, and it went great. Magnemite is still kind of a low level though. Well, it evolves at level 30 and we're almost there. I'll just evolve him and then try the gym. So the flying gym was really easy with Magneton, as expected. The only Pokemon that gave us any troubles was Altaria, but it was just because I fought it with Gardevoir to keep Magneton from going down. Everything else went down incredibly fast. Alright, it's time for things to get a lot harder. We have the Maxi fight and the Psychic Gym. Now the Maxi fight is sometimes a bit of an issue, but I'm not too worried about it. It's the Psychic Gym. You can never underestimate it. Of course, it's brutal in solo runs because they outnumber you, but even in team runs where they don't have the numbers advantage, they still tend to hit really hard. Their team synergizes well together because it was meant to only fight in double battles. Our team in these games is usually based off some weird gimmick, not off working well together as a team. Case in point, we're at the mercy of what Wally uses, and Wally wasn't designed to do double battles. Their types and moves are just gonna be a nightmare this run. Let's see how it goes. So the Maxi fight took a little while because of weird moves like him switching to Crobat randomly near the start and taking out Roselia, but really it wasn't that hard. It could have been a problem if Camerupt was more of a threat, but we ended up critting it before it had a chance to do anything too scary. Scary, like the Psychic Gym. So we get to the Psychic Gym, and I kind of thought that maybe we'd stand a chance, but we really didn't. We're a lower level than most of them, and they pretty much just have the perfect moves to counter us. Roselia would do great damage to them if she wasn't just a one-shot due to being part poison type, and although Magneton can take out Xatu easily, Claydol's Earthquake one-shots it. Swablu and Delcatty can't really do anything to them, and Gardevoir only has psychic attacks, so they all resist it. I don't think I stand a chance in this fight until I get the team up to at least level 40 each. There's still lots of trainers in the area, I'll grind for a while and then come back. Okay, so I got the team up enough in levels that Swablu evolved, and we're close to their level, but still not as high. I ended up experimenting quite a bit with what Pokemon to send in first and what to try, but it's all very random. In this attempt, I held out super long and even managed to take out a couple of her Pokemon, but really until either Roselia is stronger and faster, or the whole team is a lot more tanky, we can't really win this. This was a solid attempt, and we still didn't really get that close thanks to her Hyper Potions. Also, I forgot to deposit my Zigzagoon I use for HMs, but I guess it doesn't really matter since there's no way we're gonna win this fight anyway. I grinded a ton. I'm just gonna use some rare candies so that I can spend less time grinding and more time actually making attempts at this gym. I'll get the whole team to level 40 and then keep trying. So I level up a bunch more and the fight has a whole new nightmare scenario. Now Xatu opens with Calm Mind every single time, making it so Thunderbolt is no longer a one-shot. We still get pretty far on attempts where we paralyze a lot of our team with Dragon Breath, but we still absolutely cannot manage to finish them off. Roselia is the only one that can hit hard, and it always goes down in 1 or 2 Psychics depending on if they've used Calm Mind or not, and Lunatone loves Calm Mind. I promise you I'd have won this fight long ago if not for their non-stop Hyper Potions saving them from the brink of fainting. I'm just gonna have to level up a ton. This is brutal. Okay, so after getting Roselia all the way up to level 48 and leveling up the entire rest of the team a bit as well, we finally hit a tipping point where Roselia is easily able to get one-shots, and thanks to a bit of Dragon Breath paralysis, we keep hitting first. Really, the only reason we won is because we were able to keep one-shotting whatever opponent was going to do a serious damage move before they could hit us. It's insane how even in team runs, this Psychic Gym is a nightmare. Well, that means we're traveling, and I get the feeling that we're gonna have some smooth sailing. We have Archie, who's always easy. Then we have the Water Gym fight that I figure should be pretty simple between Magneton and Roselia. Then we finally get to the Wally mirror match. Now, we won't have the same moves as him when we reach him, because he cheats and his Magneton knows Screech before it normally should, but that's no big deal, I doubt I even need it. I have to say, this isn't a bad team. It's not amazing, and I'd for sure change some of the moves if I could, but Wally really has no excuse to do so badly with this team. We had some hard parts, but the Psychic Gym was always hard, so that's to be expected. Let's go breeze through some boss fights. So Archie was a cakewalk, as expected. I mean, if Maxi is easy, then of course Archie is gonna be easy. We're pretty good against water types after all. And next is the Water Gym. The whole team was super easy other than Kingdra, who actually fainted a few of our Pokemon and did tons of damage, but part of it was our own bad luck. I'm sure if I tried again and just had Magneton go in first and not miss, then we'd have won a lot faster. Time for that Wally fight. First is his Altaria, so I started by having Gardevoir build up Calm Mind while he built up Dragon Dance. We only used it once and then hit Psychic twice for the knockout. We lost a good chunk of health due to Aerial Ace though. Psychic was a one-shot for Delcatty, and we switched to Roselia for his Magneton. He was using Screech, so we set up our Leech Seed, and then we went for Magical Leaf. We got confused pretty early and did tons of damage hitting ourselves because of Screech, so we almost went down to Tri Attack and had to switch to our own Magneton just to avoid having Roselia faint. He used a full restore, but our Thunderbolts were hitting incredibly hard, so we just two-shot him. He sent in Roselia, but we nearly one-shot it with Altaria. It only did 6 damage to us with Giga Drain, so we had no issue taking it down. Last was his Gardevoir, so I had Roselia go in and hit Leech Seed while she was using Future Sight for safety. We went down fast, but that's alright, I just wanted the Leech Seed. Next, I sent in Altaria to use Dragon Breath, paralyzing him, but also paralyzing us in return thanks to her Synchronize ability. We got taken out once again, but it didn't matter. I sent in our own Gardevoir to watch as Leech Seed finished off his. That was a pretty fun Wally fight. Now that we're at the Elite Four, let's take a look at our team. Honestly, I think we stand a chance. These aren't exactly the moves I'd pick if we were using these Pokemon on my own, but it's what Wally uses, so I'll give it a shot. The only move here that we can't use is Magneton's Thunder Wave, since we're just waiting on learning Screech. I'm kind of worried about most of the Elite Four, but I actually think that we'll have a pretty easy time with the Pokemon Champion himself. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Dark Trainer Sydney. This actually went super smoothly. We had types that counter most of his team, and Aerial Ace did a great job of keeping Shiftry from double teaming until we're useless. It's crazy how hard Thunderbolt hits. Magneton has really quickly become a heavy hitter. Second is Ghost Trainer Phoebe. Her first Dusclops is the one who likes to spam Protect, then stuff like Curse. It's also got Pressure, so you use double the power points against it. I just got a Leech Seed in on it, and then switched when it used Curse and had Altaria finish it off pretty fast. Back out to Roselia to Leech Seed the second Dusclops as it nearly takes us out with Shadow Ball, so I used Mega Drain. It gives us just enough health to survive Rock Slide, so I decided to switch out to Magneton. Shadow Ball did almost nothing to us other than lowering our special defense, but I forgot that this Dusclops has Earthquake. That nearly took us out before Leech Seed finished him off. I stayed in to nearly one-shot a Bayonet, who used Grudge, then Full Restore, so we just hit Thunderbolt twice for the knockout. Sableye was nearly a one-shot, took us down to 1 health, used a Full Restore, then went down in 2 hits. Last was Bayonet, but it was a one-shot. Magneton actually survived that fight. Third is Ice Trainer Glacia. This fight looks easy, but actually took quite a few tries. All of the water types were easy one-shots with Thunderbolt, obviously, but the Glalie were weird. The first one always goes down reasonably easily, but the second one is just a one-shot machine. It one-shots Roselia before we can even move, easily finishes off Gardevoir after we hit Psychic, one-shots Delcatty, then went down to a Thunderbolt. It's crazy, that thing can sweep tons of our team. Fourth is Dragon Trainer Drake. So the first few times I tried this fight, I lost pretty badly and figured that we might have to grind, when I realized that the Shelgon at the start who spams Protect gave me an amazing opportunity. I could just spam 6 double teams and then 6 Calm Minds to become a nearly impossible to hit one-shot machine. None of his team are Dark type, and he doesn't have any moves that never miss, so it actually worked. It's a cheesy strategy, but hey, you gotta work with what you've got. These are Wally's moves, and it's not my fault that Drake decides to open with a Pokemon who stalls you out. Doing this strategy probably just saved us having to level up 5 to 10 times on the entire team. Finally, Pokemon Champion Wallace. First try and we one-shot Wailord, then Water Onix sweeps our entire team. Alright, well that's not what I thought was gonna happen. I bet if I level up Magneton a couple of times, then it'll be faster and we can one-shot it instead. Let's just try that. Alright, level 55 and we outspeed and one-shot Water Onix. We're back in the game. Whiscash is next, so obviously we go for Roselia. We nearly one-shot it, but then it one-shot us. That's really not good. I sent in Gardevoir as he used a Full Restore to heal back up. Thankfully, we crit with Psychic, and the second one dropped him to a Sliver, but we took huge damage off Earthquake. We dropped a special defense though, so as he used a Full Restore to heal back up, we just crit him back down, then finished him off. I really don't think we needed that second crit, to be honest. Not even sure we needed the first one. I really don't like that we already lost Roselia though. Out to Magneton to deal with Tentacruel, but we got rocked by a Hydro Pump fast. We did great damage, but 2 Hydro Pumps took us out, and we were slower. That's not good. Gardevoir took it out, but only because Hydro Pump missed. This is getting close. I sent in Altaria to deal with Ludicolo, and right away we used Aerial Ace as he was using Double Team. He quickly switched to Surf, and his second one crit, so although we got him to low health, he just healed back up and finished us off. I sent in Gardevoir, but now his Double Teams made us miss, and he took us out fast. Naturally, Delcatty isn't ready for this either. Okay, well that got us a lot farther, but clearly having most of our team about 10 levels lower than theirs is holding us back. I'll just use Rare Candy so that our team is a closer level to theirs, then keep trying. Okay, many tries later. Now we actually get a one-shot on Whiscash so we don't lose Roselia. That's a huge difference right off the bat. Melodic gets sent out super early, so I sent in Magneton to hit a Thunderbolt on it, then switched to Altaria when I realized that we were going to go down and I still need Magneton for later. Altaria just ended up going down before it could hit anything, though. I sent in Roselia, nearly go down to an Ice Beam, then took him out with a critical Magical Leaf. Oh my god, that was lucky. Tentacruel is next, but we're faster, so we just crit a Psychic for a one-shot. Considering how bad of shape our team is in, I think we needed that. Last is Ludicolo, and we don't have Altaria, so I had to open by sending in Magneton to Thunderbolt it, then go down. Next was Gardevoir, who almost took it out with Psychic, but got seeded. He used a full restore, and I just kept going for Psychic. He starts using Double Team, and I was terrified we'd start missing when we finally hit that final Psychic to take him out and beat Wallace. With that victory, we get into the Hall of Fame and win the run, but you know it's not over yet. Gen 3 has a post-game fight with Steven Stone. Now, they're a much higher level than we are, but that's alright. It's the post-game. No reason not to just go crazy with rare candies. His team starts around level 75, so I'll get our team up to 70 and just see what happens. He's using stronger Pokemon, he's got better moves, he's got us outnumbered, so I don't really know how it's gonna go, but I'm sure we could win eventually. Right away, Magneton outspeeds and one-shot Skarmory with Thunderbolt. Awesome start. I sent in Roselia for Aggron, and we actually did a lot less damage than I expected. We took it out, but it was only because of a critical Giga Drain. We're in bad shape because of Earthquake. Armaldo was next, so I tried using Altaria, but we did almost nothing and he hit incredibly hard, so I switched to Dragon Breath and paralyzed it before we went down. I sent in Magneton to finish it off with Thunderbolt, but we ended up getting hit by Water Pulse and he used a full restore. Then we took him to half health with another hit and he switched to Claydol, so I had to switch to Delcatty. Earthquake took out half of our health, but we put it to sleep with Sing right away and started spamming out 3 charms to make his Earthquakes as weak as possible, knowing that he didn't have any non-physical moves to use. That's right, I finally got a use out of Delcatty. At some point, with the lack of anything else to do, I started using Assist. One of the moves that it used was an incredibly weak Surf. I guess it used that because of my HM Tentacruel that I used to get here. Is that against the rules because it was a non-Wally Pokemon move? Or is it okay because Delcatty was the one using Assist, and Assist is a Wally move? I mean, it did so little damage that I guess it doesn't matter, and also I make the rules, so sure, I'll allow it. I think it did less damage than Feint Attack anyway. Eventually, we went down, I sent Roselia in, and we just kept using Giga Drain to heal off of it. We weren't doing a ton of damage, but because of the charms, neither was he. He fully healed again, so we used Leech Seed and kept landing moves until eventually, he decides to switch to Metagross. Well, that's incredibly annoying. Metagross missed us right away, so we got Leech Seed in, but then I switched straight to Gardevoir and got hit by Psychic. It didn't do much, but I wasn't messing around. I started using Double Team to try and outlast him, while Leech Seed still messed him up. It actually worked. The first Shadow Ball messed us up, but then Meteor Mash and Shadow Ball both missed. He hit after that and took us out, but it got his health low enough that I could send in Magneton to finish him off with a Thunderbolt. Next, he sent Claydol back in, and he used a full restore right away, so I had Roselia use Magical Leaf and then Giga Drain to take it out. We nearly fainted to Earthquake damage now that his attack is back to normal, but at least we healed up a little bit as we took him out. Second from last is Armaldo, but it was still hurt, so I just Thunderbolted it down in one hit. Last is Credilli, and this thing can be incredibly annoying with Ingrain. Right away, I had Roselia use Toxic on it first, as it took us out with Ancient Power, and that's when I knew that we had this one. Our last Pokemon versus his last Pokemon, and he could hardly hurt us. Yeah, we could hardly hurt him, and we're a low health Pokemon, and he heals from Ingrain, but Toxic just builds up too fast. There's nothing he could do. We even got him to hit himself in Confusion a bit on the way down. I can't believe we won that at level 70. That was a fun run, but I knew it would be. These gimmick team runs always are. I really hope you guys like that run. The next Pokemon Challenge should be up next week on Saturday, like usual, with Pokemon Fire Red with only one Trapinch. Yeah, I really like doing these runs with Pokemon you don't normally find in the game. It's just really fun. As always, I'm looking at your suggestions in the comments in the challenge request section of my Discord channel and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Outro time. Oh my god, the weather is finally nice over here. We've had a few random days where it got really cold at night and I needed to put the heat on, and a couple random days where it got so hot out of nowhere that I needed to put the air conditioning on, but for the most part, okay, and there's been some really rainy days too. Okay, but for the most part, it's been sunny, it's been nice, it's been breezy, the temperature's been mild, and I've been getting a lot of sun in the backyard, so that's been quite nice. I can do the lawn, I can do a little bit of gardening, that's been great. I've also been streaming a lot more, as I'm sure you guys have seen. Mostly just a lot of WWF No Mercy so far, but I kind of think I'm near, sorry, not No Mercy, WWF WrestleMania 2000, the game before No Mercy. I will do No Mercy at some point, don't worry. Anyway, I'm kind of breezing through that one because I'm fairly sure that I'm near-ish the end of the game and it wouldn't take a ton of streams to finish it off. So I kind of want to just like blitz through that, finish that off, then I can get back to more other stuff like Bannerlord, and I want to do Stardew Valley would be really fun, and I probably want to stream some Pokemon side stuff too. Not really thinking about any ROM hacks right now. I get requested to do every ROM hack on the planet, trust me. But I'm not really thinking of streaming any ROM hacks or anything like that right now. I'm thinking if I stream some Pokemon stuff, I want to do some like spin-off side games, you know? Like, what was that game called? Like Pokken Tournament, the fighter one? I mean, I heard it wasn't great, but I haven't played it before, so I wouldn't mind trying it. I want to try more of the spin-offs that I've never tried before. I'm not sure which ones I want to do as like a Let's Play with my friends and which ones I want to do as like streams. I'm not really sure yet. So I've got to figure out some of that, but I will probably be streaming some Pokemon related stuff. I definitely want to get back to streaming the Pokemon collectible card game for the Game Boy Color, because I used to stream that a few years ago, and that game is super, super fun. It helps that like the card game itself is really fun. I don't play the card game in person or anything. It's just I kind of understand the rules, and it's a fun game. And that game is really fun, and the cards are fun, and the music is all fantastic, and the art is good. Just, oh, what's not to love about that game? And then whenever I end up finally beating that one, there's a whole sequel too, so I can play that one too. And I always hear that the sequel's great, and I've watched some people play it. I've watched like Paraspector play it, and it looks like a really fun game. So yeah, that'll be great. Oh, and me and Paraspector are probably gonna like play some Resident Evil Outbreak on stream someday. We're probably gonna play some off stream too, because he's doing like videos on his channel. He's done videos where he kind of recaps like all the Pokemon games in order. He also did that with James Bond games, and now he's doing it with Resident Evil games, and I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. As a lot of you already know, I've Let's Played tons of Resident Evil games on this channel. Some of you OGs have watched me play Resident Evil 4, in which I defeat all of the regenerators with a knife. Just a knife. I know some crazy tricks in that game. It's real fun. If you haven't seen my Resident Evil 4 Let's Play from, I don't know, 2015 or 2016, that's pretty old now, actually. Oh my god, that was like 8 years ago. That is wild to think. Hey, if you want to go watch it, I think that one aged really well. Alright, I should go make some lunch. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.